My name is Madison, and I'm 28 years old. 3 months ago, I thought my life was falling apart. Today, I know it was actually coming together. I met Derek at a coffee shop in downtown Portland. He was sitting alone, typing furiously on his laptop, and when I accidentally bumped his table while carrying my latte, he looked up and smiled like I was the only person in the world. That should have been my first warning sign. When someone seems too perfect, too charming, too attentive right from the start, there's usually something hiding underneath, but I didn't know that then. We dated for 2 years. 2 years of my life that I thought were building towards something real. He moved into my apartment after 6 months. My apartment. The one I had worked 3 jobs to afford. The 1 bedroom in the Pearl District that took me years to save up for. He said his lease was ending and it made sense financially. I said yes because I loved him. The problem started small. He would comment on what I wore when we went out. Not in a controlling way at first. Just little observations. That dress is pretty short, isn't it? Or you're wearing that top to dinner with your friends. I would laugh it off, change into something else. Tell myself he just cared about me. Then came the phone checking. He never asked directly. He would wait until I was in the shower or cooking dinner, and I would catch him scrolling through my messages. When I confronted him, he said he was just making sure I was safe, that there were a lot of creeps out there, that he loved me and wanted to protect me. I believed him because I wanted to. The breakup happened on a Tuesday night in March. I came home from work early because I had a migraine. I worked as a graphic designer for a small marketing firm, and we had just finished a huge campaign that had me pulling late nights for weeks. My boss, Jennifer, actually sent me home at 3 in the afternoon and told me to rest. When I opened the door to my apartment, I heard it immediately, the sounds coming from my bedroom. At first, my brain couldn't process what I was hearing. Then it clicked. I stood in my own entryway, frozen, listening to my boyfriend having relations with someone else in my bed. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I just walked to the bedroom door and opened it. Her name was Brittany. She worked at the gym where Derek had a membership, the same gym he went to every morning at 6, the same gym he said was helping him work on himself. She was younger than me, 23, long blonde hair, the kind of girl who probably never had to work 3 jobs to afford anything. Derek didn't even look ashamed. He looked annoyed that I had interrupted. "We need to talk," he said, pulling on his jeans like this was a normal conversation we were about to have. Brittany grabbed her clothes and ran past me. I heard the front door slam. "Get out," I said. My voice was calm. Too calm. I was in shock. "Madison, let me explain. Get out." He left that night. Took his things over the next few days while I stayed at my best friend Amber's place. I couldn't be in that apartment. Couldn't look at that bed. Amber kept saying I should throw his stuff out the window, light it on fire, do something dramatic, but I just wanted him gone. I thought that was the end of it. I was wrong. 2 weeks after Derek moved out, my coworker Emily pulled me aside during lunch. We usually ate together in the break room, but that day she asked if we could go to the coffee shop down the street. Just the 2 of us. "I need to tell you something," she said once we sat down. Her face was serious, worried. "What's wrong?" "I heard something. About you. And I know it's not true, but I think you should know people are talking." My stomach dropped. "What are they saying?" Emily looked uncomfortable. She picked at her salad without eating. "Derek has been telling people that you cheated on him, that you were seeing multiple guys throughout your relationship. He's saying that you were unfaithful and that's why he ended things." I stared at her. "What?" "There's more." She took a breath. "He's saying you have a problem with substances, that you were using his money to support habits, that he tried to help you but you refused treatment." I felt like I couldn't breathe. That's insane. None of that is true. He cheated on me and I never took a penny from him. If anything, I supported him. He barely worked the last 6 months we were together. "I know," Emily said quickly. "I know it's not true, but he's very convincing. And he's telling everyone. People at his gym, mutual friends. He even posted some vague things on social media that make it sound like he's the victim." I pulled out my phone and opened Instagram. Derek had posted 3 days ago. A photo of himself looking sad, staring out at the ocean. The caption read, "Sometimes the person you'd take a bullet for ends up being the one behind the gun. Trust is everything. Learn from my mistakes. Stay strong, Kings." The comments were filled with support. People I didn't even know telling him he deserved better. That he would find someone worthy of him. That they were proud of him for walking away from toxicity. I wanted to throw my phone across the coffee shop. "He's a liar," I said. My hands were shaking. "He's making up stories because he got caught cheating and he can't handle looking like the bad guy." "I believe you," Emily said, "but you need to do something. This is affecting your reputation. I heard Jennifer got a weird email about you last week." "What kind of email?" "I don't know the details, but it was from someone claiming to know you, raising concerns about your behavior and reliability." Now I was angry, really angry. The kind of anger that makes your whole body feel hot and your vision narrow. Derek wasn't just moving on with his life. He was actively trying to destroy mine. I spent that evening at Amber's apartment, pacing her living room while she ordered Chinese food and let me vent. "He's gaslighting you to everyone you know," Amber said. She was a lawyer. Corporate law, not criminal, but she understood manipulation tactics. "This is classic narcissist behavior. He needs to control the narrative. If he can make everyone believe you're the villain, then he never has to face what he did. How do I stop it? You tell the truth. You tell people what really happened, and they'll believe me over him. He's so good at lying, Amber. He's had 2 weeks to spread his version everywhere." "I'll just look defensive." Amber thought about this. "Then you need proof. Something that shows who he really is." "Like what?" "I don't know. But there has to be something." That conversation planted a seed in my mind. I couldn't stop thinking about it. What proof did I have? Text messages where he apologized for being controlling? A few photos of the apartment that showed his mess everywhere? Screenshots of arguments? None of it felt substantial enough. Then I remembered something. Derek had used my laptop constantly. His own computer was old and slow, so whenever he needed to do anything online, he borrowed mine. Applying for jobs, checking his email, browsing the internet. I had never thought twice about it, but I had never cleared the browser history. I went home that night for the first time since the breakup. The apartment felt empty and cold. I half expected to see him there, but of course he was gone. Just me and the furniture and the memories I was trying to forget. I opened my laptop and went straight to the browser history. What I found made me sick. Hours and hours of adult websites, dating apps where he had active profiles, messages to women I didn't know. But it wasn't just that. It was the volume, the frequency, the timestamps. He had been browsing explicit content constantly, multiple times a day, sometimes while I was at work, sometimes while I was in the other room. The dating apps showed conversations going back 18 months. He had been actively trying to meet other women for most of our relationship, and there was more. Search history showed him looking up information about how to hide things from your partner, how to delete text messages permanently, how to create secret social media accounts. He had been researching ways to cheat more effectively. I sat there staring at the screen until 2 in the morning, just scrolling through everything. Part of me wanted to delete it all and pretend I never saw it. But another part of me, a stronger part, knew this was exactly what I needed. This was the truth about Derek. This was who he really was when no one was watching. The next morning, I called Amber before work. I found something, I said. What? His browser history? On my laptop. Amber, it's bad. It's really bad. Tell me, I explained everything. The adult content, the dating profiles, the searches about hiding cheating. By the time I finished, Amber was quiet. Madison, she finally said. This is it. This is your proof. But how do I use it? I can't just post screenshots online. That's petty. And probably illegal. No, you're right. But you can defend yourself. When he tells his lies, you can tell the truth. And if people don't believe you, you can show them evidence that he's not the person he pretends to be. I don't know if I can do this. It feels wrong. He's telling people you were unfaithful and had substance issues. He's sending emails to your boss trying to get you fired. He gave up the right to privacy when he decided to destroy your life. She was right. I knew she was right, but I still didn't do anything. Not yet. I saved everything to a separate drive and tried to move forward. I told myself maybe it would blow over. Maybe Derek would stop spreading lies and I could just rebuild my reputation quietly. That lasted exactly 1 week. I was at a friend's birthday party, Jessica, a girl I had known since college. She was having a small gathering at her apartment, maybe 20 people. I almost didn't go because I wasn't feeling social, but Amber convinced me I needed to get out. I was standing in the kitchen talking to another friend, Rachel, when I overheard Derek's name. 3 guys were in the living room, and I recognized one of them as Brad, someone Derek knew from his gym. Yeah, man, Derek dodged a bullet with that girl, Brad was saying. She was apparently seeing like 4 different guys behind his back. That's crazy, another guy said. How did he find out? He caught her. She didn't even deny it, just tried to turn it around on him. My face burned. I walked straight into the living room. That's not true, I said. My voice came out louder than I intended. The whole apartment got quiet. Brad looked at me. Madison, hey, I didn't know you were here. Clearly, since you're spreading lies about me, I'm just repeating what Derek told me. And Derek is a liar. Brad held up his hands. Look, I don't want to get in the middle of anything. You're already in the middle. You're telling people I cheated when the truth is Derek cheated on me with a girl from your gym named Brittany. I came home early from work and found them in my bed. In my apartment that I paid for. The room was completely silent now. Everyone was staring. Derek said you made that up, Brad said, but he sounded less certain now. Of course he did, because he's a narcissist who can't handle the truth. He's been telling everyone I was unfaithful and had substance problems. None of it is true. None of it. And I can prove it. How? I pulled out my phone. I had screenshots saved. Not of the explicit content, but of the dating app profiles. The conversations with other women. The timestamps showing activity during our relationship. This is from his browser history on my laptop. He was on dating apps for 18 months while we were together. He was messaging women. He was actively trying to cheat. And when he finally succeeded, he blamed me. I showed Brad the screenshots. He looked at them. Really looked. His expression changed. I didn't know. He said quietly. No one knows because Derek is very good at lying. But I'm done protecting his reputation while he destroys mine. I left the party right after that. I didn't want to stay and rehash everything, but I felt something shift. For the first time since the breakup, I had stood up for myself. I had told the truth out loud. Amber texted me an hour later. Jessica just called me. Brad is apparently texting everyone and telling them Derek lied. You started something? I didn't mean to make a scene. Yes, you did. And it was perfect. The next few days were strange. People started reaching out to me. Friends I hadn't talked to in months. Coworkers who had been distant. They all said the same thing. They had heard Derek's version and believed it, but now they were hearing mine, and they wanted to know the truth. I told them. I showed them the evidence when they asked. I didn't post anything publicly, but I stopped hiding. And then Derek made his biggest mistake. He posted another Instagram story. This one was more direct. It didn't name me, but anyone who knew us would understand who he meant. When someone tries to ruin your reputation with lies, remember, the truth always comes out. Some people can't handle being exposed for who they really are. Don't let bitter exes drag you down. The irony was almost funny. Amber saw it before I did. She called me immediately. He's calling you bitter. He's saying you're the liar. I know. Madison, it's time. You have to do something bigger. This has gone on too long. Like what? Post the truth. All of it. Don't hide anymore. I can't just make a revenge post. That's not who I am. It's not revenge. It's self-defense. I thought about it all night. Part of me was scared. Scared of backlash. Scared of looking petty. Scared of making things worse. But another part of me was just tired tired. Tired of defending myself in private conversations. Tired of watching Derek play the victim. Tired of being lied about. So I did it. I made a post on my Instagram. A long post. I didn't name Derek, but I told my story. I explained that I had been in a relationship with someone who cheated on me, then spent weeks telling people I was the one who cheated. I explained that this person had been actively trying to damage my reputation and my career. I explained that I had proof of everything, and I was no longer staying quiet. Then I posted several screenshots. The dating app profiles with his photos, messages where he was flirting with other women, timestamps showing activity. I blurred out the other women's information, but I left his username visible. At the bottom, I wrote, "Narcissists need you to look bad so they can look good. I'm done being someone's scapegoat. The truth matters." I hit post before I could change my mind. Within an hour, it had 50 comments. Within 3 hours, 200. People were sharing it. People I didn't even know were commenting. Some criticized me for airing private matters, but most were supportive. They shared their own stories about narcissistic exes. They thanked me for speaking up, and then Derek's friends started commenting. Brad was one of the first. "I owe Madison an apology. Derek lied to all of us." Others followed. People who had believed Derek were now questioning everything he told them. My phone was exploding with messages, some from friends, some from people I barely knew. And then I got one that made my stomach drop. It was from Brittany, the girl Derek had cheated with. "Can we talk?" the message said. "I need to tell you something." I stared at the message for a long time before responding. What could she possibly want to tell me? "Okay," I typed back. She called me 20 minutes later. "I'm sorry," she said immediately. Her voice was shaky. "I'm so sorry for what happened. I didn't know you existed. Derek told me he was single." "What?" "He never mentioned you. I met him at the gym 3 months before you walked in that day. He said he lived alone. He never wore a ring or talked about a girlfriend. I had no idea. I felt nauseous. He was with me for 2 years. I know that now. After you posted today, I put everything together. He lied to both of us. Why are you telling me this? Because there's more. After you caught us, Derek told me you were crazy, that you had been harassing him, that he was trying to leave you but you wouldn't let him go. He made you sound dangerous." Of course he did. I believed him. I'm ashamed to say it, but I did. We kept seeing each other after that for about a month, and then I found out he was seeing someone else, another girl from the gym. He was doing to me exactly what he did to you. I'm sorry. Don't apologize to me. I helped him cheat on you. I should have asked more questions, but I wanted to tell you that I saw your post. And I want to support you. Derek is the liar, not you. And if you need someone else to back up your story, I will. After I hung up with Brittany, I just sat there. Everything was coming into focus now. Derek hadn't just cheated once. He was a serial cheater. Someone who lied compulsively and manipulated everyone around him. Over the next week, more people came forward. Women he had dated before me. Friends who had noticed his behavior but stayed quiet. His roommate from college who said Derek had always been like this. The story grew bigger than I expected. Someone shared my post to Reddit, then to Twitter. Suddenly, I was getting messages from strangers across the country. People sharing their own experiences with narcissistic partners. People thanking me for speaking up. A woman named Hannah reached out and said she had dated Derek right before me. He had told her the same lies about his ex being crazy and controlling. She had screenshots of their conversations where he complained about his psycho ex-girlfriend who wouldn't leave him alone. That ex was probably telling the truth too. Derek tried to respond once. He posted his own statement claiming I had hacked his accounts and fabricated evidence, that he was considering legal action for defamation, but his post got ratioed immediately. People weren't buying it anymore. His dating app profiles disappeared. His Instagram went private. Brad told me Derek stopped coming to the gym, but the real moment of poetic justice came 3 weeks after my initial post. I got a DM from a woman named Victoria. She said she worked in HR at a tech company in Seattle. Derek had recently applied for a position there and made it to the final interview stage. "We do standard background checks," she wrote, which includes searching the candidate's name online. Your post came up, along with multiple corroborating accounts. "We decided not to move forward with his application." She didn't have to tell me that, but she did. And something about that felt like closure. Derek had spent weeks trying to ruin my reputation, trying to destroy my career, trying to make me look like a terrible person. And in the end, the truth caught up with him. I didn't feel victorious exactly. I just felt free. Amber took me out to dinner to celebrate 1 month after everything happened. We went to the same coffee shop where Derek and I first met. It felt appropriate somehow. "How are you doing?" she asked. "Really? Better," I said. "I'm actually better. My boss called me into her office last week." "What did she say?" "She apologized. She said she received that email about me and had been monitoring my performance more closely because of it. But after everything came out, she realized Derek had sent it. She felt terrible for doubting me." "Did she give you that promotion you were up for?" I smiled. "She did. Senior designer, $15,000 raise." Amber raised her wine glass. "To Madison, who refused to let a narcissist win." We clinked glasses. "Can I ask you something?" I said. "Anything? Do you think I went too far with the post?" Amber put down her glass. "Do you? Sometimes. Late at night, I wonder if I should have just moved on quietly. If I made everything worse by fighting back." "Madison, listen to me. You didn't fight back because you wanted revenge. You fought back because he was actively trying to ruin your life. He emailed your boss. He told everyone you knew that you were unfaithful and had substance problems. He tried to isolate you and destroy your career. You didn't expose him out of spite. You exposed him out of survival. I know. I just feel like I became someone I'm not. Someone who airs their private life online. You became someone who refused to be a victim. That's not the same thing. Maybe she was right. The truth is, I still think about Derek sometimes. Not because I miss him or want him back, but because I think about all the red flags I ignored. The way he checked my phone, the comments about my clothes, the subtle ways he tried to control my friendships. I think about how I explained away his behavior because I loved him, how I made excuses for things that should have made me leave, and I think about the moment I came home early that Tuesday and opened my bedroom door, the moment everything shattered. But I also think about what came after. I think about standing up at Jessica's party and telling the truth for the first time. I think about making that Instagram post, hands shaking, heart racing, knowing I was about to change everything. I think about Brittany calling me to apologize, about Victoria messaging me to say Derek didn't get the job. I think about taking my life back. 3 months after the breakup, I moved out of the apartment. Too many memories, too much pain in those walls. Amber helped me find a new place, a studio in a different neighborhood, smaller but mine. I packed up everything and hired movers for the furniture. On my last day in the old apartment, I stood in the empty bedroom and tried to feel something. Sadness maybe, nostalgia, but I just felt relieved. I ran into Derek once after everything settled down. It was random. A Saturday morning at the grocery store. I was in the produce section picking out avocados when I heard his voice. Madison! I turned around. He looked different, thinner, tired. His hair was longer and messier than he used to keep it. Derek, I said. My voice was neutral, calm. How are you? I'm good. You? I'm managing. We stood there in awkward silence. Other shoppers moved around us, oblivious to the history between us. I wanted to say something, he started, about everything that happened. Don't, please. Just let me. Derek, I don't need an apology. I don't need an explanation. I don't need anything from you. I'm trying to take responsibility. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Are you? Because taking responsibility would have been telling the truth from the beginning. Not spreading lies about me for weeks. Not trying to get me fired. Not making yourself the victim. He looked down. I know I messed up. You didn't mess up. You made choices. Deliberate choices. And when those choices caught up to you, you tried to destroy me rather than face what you did. I'm sorry. I don't forgive you. And I don't need to. That's not why I'm doing okay now. I'm doing okay because I chose to stop protecting your reputation. I chose to tell the truth. I chose me. I walked away before he could respond. Left my avocados and went to a different store. I didn't need closure from Derek. I had already found it. Emily told me later that Derek moved to California, some job opportunity that took him far away from Portland. Part of me wondered if he was running from his reputation. If he planned to start fresh somewhere new with a clean slate, I hoped his next partner would Google him first. My Instagram post is still up. I think about deleting it sometimes, moving on completely. But then I get messages from people it helped. Women who read it and recognized their own situations. Men who realized they had been making excuses for partners who manipulated them. A girl named Melissa sent me a message last week. She said she had been dating a guy for 6 months when she found my post. Her boyfriend had been showing early signs of controlling behavior, checking her location, asking why she needed to see friends without him, making comments about what she wore. She said reading my story gave her the courage to leave before things got worse. You probably saved me years of pain, she wrote. Thank you for being brave. I cried when I read that, because that's what it had been about all along. Not revenge. Not dragging Derek through the mud. It was about refusing to be silent while someone tried to erase me. Amber says I should write a book. Tell the whole story from beginning to end. I laugh when she suggests it, but part of me wonders, maybe my experience could help more people. Maybe there's something powerful in saying, this happened to me and I survived it. I don't know what the future holds. I'm dating again slowly, taking my time, watching for red flags, trusting my instincts more than I did before. Last month, I went on a date with a guy named Marcus. We met at a bookstore and talked for 3 hours about everything and nothing. When he walked me to my car, he didn't try to kiss me, didn't ask for my social media passwords, didn't comment on what I was wearing. He just said, I had a really nice time. Can I take you to dinner next week? Simple, easy, no games. We've been seeing each other for 5 weeks now. It's different from what I had with Derek. Marcus asks questions and listens to the answers. He respects my boundaries. When I told him I needed to take things slow because of my last relationship, he said, of course, whatever you need. I haven't told him the full story yet. I will eventually, but for now it's nice to just be Madison. Not Madison who exposed her narcissist ex. Just Madison. The graphic design job is going well. Jennifer promoted me again last month. Art director, my own team. It's everything I worked toward before Derek came into my life and tried to derail it. Sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I had stayed quiet, if I had let Derek tell his lies and just tried to rebuild in silence. Would people have eventually figured out the truth? Would he have moved on to someone else and repeated the same pattern? I'll never know because I didn't stay quiet. And I'm glad I didn't. Amber and I still have dinner every week. She's my constant. The one who was there when I fell apart and the one who helped me put the pieces back together. Last week she told me she was proud of me. For what? I asked. For everything. For surviving. For fighting back. For moving forward. I'm not sure I'm fully moved forward yet. Maybe not. But you're moving. That's what matters. She's right. I am moving. Forward. Past Derek. Past the lies. Past the version of myself that accepted less than I deserved. The apartment is quiet now. My new studio. Just me and my furniture and the plants I'm somehow managing to keep alive. There's a peace in the silence that wasn't there before. No more walking on eggshells. No more wondering what mood Derek would be in when I got home. No more justifying my choices to someone who didn't respect them anyway. Just me. And honestly, that's enough. I logged into my old laptop last week, the one with Derek's browser history. I had been avoiding it, using my work computer for everything, but I needed some old design files. I scrolled through the history one more time, looking at the evidence that changed everything. Part of me wanted to delete it, clear it all out and never think about it again, but I didn't. I backed it up instead. Put it it on a hard drive and stored it away, not because I plan to use it again, but because it's a reminder that the truth matters, that documentation matters, that believing yourself matters. That day I came home early and found Derek in bed with Brittany. I could have chosen to believe his lies, to accept his version where somehow I was at fault, to let him gaslight me into thinking I was crazy for being hurt. A lot of people do. They accept the narcissist's narrative because it's easier than fighting, because standing up for yourself is exhausting and scary and lonely. But I'm glad I fought, not for revenge, not to hurt Derek, but for me, for the right to tell my own story, for the right to defend myself against lies, for the right to exist without someone else controlling the narrative. Jessica told me something interesting last month. She said Derek had shown up at a mutual friend's party, that he had tried to talk to people like nothing happened, like he could just slide back into our social circle and pretend it didn't work. People were polite but distant. Someone asked him directly about the dating apps. He stammered through an excuse and left early. He looked pathetic, Jessica said. I almost felt bad for him. Almost? I asked. Almost. Then I remembered what he did to you. I appreciated that. The loyalty. The fact that people saw through Derek's charm once they knew the truth. The narcissist relies on people not comparing notes, on keeping everyone isolated so no one realizes the pattern. But once the pattern is exposed, once people start talking, the whole facade crumbles. That's what happened with Derek. Once I spoke up, others did too. Brittany, Hannah, his college roommate. People who had seen pieces of who he really was but stayed quiet because they thought they were alone. We weren't alone. We just needed someone to go first. So I went first, and yes, it was terrifying. Yes, there were people who criticized me, who said I should have handled it privately, who accused me of being vindictive, but there were more people who thanked me, who said I gave them courage, who recognized their own situations in mine. That made it worth it. Marcus asked me the other day why I seemed distracted. We were having coffee at my favorite spot, and I was staring out the window, lost in thought, just thinking about the past. I said, "Want to talk about it?" I looked at him, really looked, at his kind eyes and patient expression, at the way he asked without pushing, the way he created space for me to share without demanding it. Maybe someday, I said, but not today. He nodded. Whenever you're ready, that's the difference. Derek would have pushed, would have made it about him, would have accused me of hiding something or not trusting him. Marcus just accepted my boundary and moved on. It's strange how experiencing something terrible teaches you to recognize something good. I don't think I would appreciate Marcus the way I do if I hadn't been through everything with Derek. I wouldn't know how special it is to have someone respect your pace. Trauma teaches you things, not lessons in the philosophical sense, just basic facts about the world, that not everyone who says they love you actually does. That charm can be a weapon, that you have to save yourself because no one else will do it for you, but also that you can survive. That speaking up matters. That truth is powerful even when it's scary. These are the things I know now that I didn't know 3 months ago. I saw Derek's mom at the grocery store last week, a different store than where I ran into Derek. She saw me first, and I watched her decide whether to approach. She did. "Madison," she said softly. I wanted to say something. I waited. "I'm sorry for what Derek did, and I'm sorry I didn't reach out sooner." I was embarrassed, ashamed that I raised someone who could treat another person that way. You didn't raise him to be a narcissist. I don't know. I think I made excuses for him when he was younger, when he would lie or manipulate. I told myself it was normal kid stuff. Maybe I taught him he could get away with it. He made his own choices. I know. But I wanted you to know I believe you. Everything you said. I found out he lied to us too. About the breakup. About you. About everything. We talked for a few more minutes. She seemed genuine, hurt by what her son had become. I appreciated that she reached out, but I also knew it didn't change anything. Derek was still who he was. When we parted ways, she hugged me. "You deserved better," she said. "I know," I replied. "That's why I left." That night, I thought about forgiveness. People always say you should forgive to move on, to let go of anger and resentment, to free yourself from the past. But I don't think forgiveness works that way. At least not for me. I don't forgive Derek. I don't need to. Forgiveness implies he deserves it. That his actions can be absolved somehow? They can't. But I also don't spend my energy hating him. I don't think about revenge or wish bad things would happen to him. I just don't care. He's irrelevant to my life now. A chapter that's closed. Maybe that's better than forgiveness. Maybe indifference is the real freedom. Amber's getting married next year. She asked me to be her maid of honor. Her fiancé David is everything Derek wasn't. Honest, supportive, secure in himself. I'm so happy for you. I told her when she asked. "Your turn will come," she said. "Maybe, but I'm okay if it doesn't. I'm learning to be happy alone." That's good. That's healthy. Derek would have hated that. The idea of me being happy without him. That's because narcissists need you to need them. Your independence threatens their control. She was right. Derek had always found subtle ways to make me feel like I couldn't manage without him. Like I needed his approval or guidance or protection. Leaving him was the best thing I ever did. Not just because of the cheating or the lies, but because it taught me I was stronger than I thought. I didn't need Derek. I never did. The Instagram post is still getting comments. Months later, people sharing their stories, offering support, asking questions. I try to respond to as many as I can, especially the ones from people who are currently in similar situations, who are trying to decide whether to leave, who are scared of what their partner might do if they speak up. I always say the same thing. You're not crazy. Trust yourself. Document everything. And know that life gets better on the other side, because it does. It really does. Sure, there are hard days. Days when I miss having a partner. Days when I question whether I did the right thing by going public. Days when the loneliness feels heavy, but those days are getting rarer. And they're worth it for the days when I wake up in my own apartment, in my own bed, with no one to answer to but myself. That's freedom. Last week, I got a message from a reporter. She wanted to interview me for an article about narcissistic abuse and social media accountability. I thought about it for a long time before responding. Part of me wanted to say yes, to use my platform to help more people, to make something meaningful out of what happened. But another part of me was tired of being Madison who exposed her narcissist ex, ready to just be Madison again. I declined the interview, politely, but I declined. Maybe someday I'll be ready to tell the full story publicly, to let journalists analyze it and therapists break it down and social media debate whether I did the right thing, but not today. Today I'm just living my life, going to work, seeing Marcus, having dinner with Amber, keeping my plants alive, being ordinary, being free. That's enough. I think about the girl I was 2 years ago, the one who met Derek at that coffee shop and thought he was perfect, who ignored the red flags and made excuses and lost herself in trying to be what he wanted. I wish I could go back and warn her, tell her to run, tell her that the charming guy with the perfect smile is hiding something dark underneath, but I can't go back. None of us can. All I can do is move forward and hope that by sharing my story, I helped someone else see their red flags sooner, leave their toxic relationship faster, find their voice before they lost it completely. If even one person read my post and decided to leave, if even one person recognized the pattern and broke the cycle, then maybe everything I went through meant something. Maybe that's the real poetic justice. Not that Derek lost his reputation or his job opportunities or his social circle, but that his attempt to destroy me became the thing that saved someone else. That's what I choose to believe anyway. And tonight, as I sit in my quiet studio apartment, sipping tea and watching the city lights through my window, I feel something I haven't felt in years. Peace. Not happiness exactly. Not yet, but peace. The knowledge that I did the right thing, that I told the truth, that I survived, that I'm okay, and you know what? That's more than enough.